buddy.
Hey Trace, what's up?
Not much. How's it
How's
going?
my how's my background look and my lighting and all that? Just testing this out for the first time.
It's very cool.
Okay. This is not my usual
I see
setting.
that. Yeah, I
So,
noticed that. What's going on there?
well, I'm in a different location than I normally am. Uh,
Ah,
One of those minor details of the day-to-day work environment
that's okay.
where I stay during the week versus the weekend is a little bit different.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't been here to record a video in like a couple weeks. It's been a while. A lot of people think this is my bedroom because there's a bed in the back, but
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But I guess we're wrong then.
yeah, you guys are all wrong. Yeah, this is not my bedroom. I have to come here to record my videos. So sometimes I'm not always able to come over and get it done. But I recorded a video right before me and you started talking. So I did Shang-Chi and Candyman. I did two reviews in one video. I've never done that before. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can get it out soon.
I'm noticing that's a trend with some other reviewers too. There are a lot of people are lumping multiple reviews into one, even like
Well,
Chris Stuckman and people like that. I'm not sure what
I'm
the trend is going on there.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not too worried about following other people's trends, but in this case, both movie like I missed my window to get both of my reviews out because like Candyman's been out for like 2 weeks, and for Shang-Chi, you got to get it out this weekend because it's a Marvel movie. And
Yes.
so I missed my window, but I really wanted to talk about both of them. So I figured, you know what, this video is going to be for me. If anything, if I'm the only one that watches it, it'll be for me. I'm going to get it out and just, it was like a 4 minute video. It was super quick. I didn't get
That's
to
good.
talk about
I mean,
everything I wanted to.
are you still all aboard the Shang-Chi train? You're still loving it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, looking back, maybe was I a little too harsh on it? Maybe, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, and the cats are gonna fight in the background here, so that's also gonna be a problem.
So
Uh,
for people, I'm already recording if you didn't know.
I know that,
Yeah.
but
But for
this,
people that don't know this, and I don't know why people would know, but now you will know, Ryan and I are both in Florida, and we've been trying to make a video together for a while, but things kind of fell through. So hence we're doing this video, our film fan community. But besides that, we've been talking, and I was going to go see Shang-Chi anyway by myself the other night. And then Ryan was like, well, should I go check it out? And so I said, you know what, man? Like, why don't we just meet halfway and go check it out together and meet up? So we both got to go see Shang-Chi together, and we both had very different experiences. On my second time, I think I liked it a little bit more, but Ryan's experience of the movie was a complete 180 of my experience.
yeah, I mean, I just feel that it is in the standard Marvel, kind of cookie cutter mold. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that if that's what you're into and that's what you enjoy. And I certainly used to enjoy that. I don't know if I've just gotten numb to it over the years or have found something else that's kind of displaced that love of what I used to get excited for in a Marvel movie. To be honest, I really look back to like when did my opinion change on the whole Marvel fandom, super being into the next release, being anticipating every new movie, and I've always been a DC guy at heart, forever. Okay, as I've explained before, but I do like Marvel a lot. I mean, I certainly grew up with Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, all that stuff. I read comics when I was a kid, but I always gravitated towards DC more. And I think when they started doing all the CW shows, that really
Cemented
um,
it.
kind of like not exacerbated, exemplified. That's the right word. How you can adapt a comic book into a long form storytelling that mimics what you would see or read in a comic book on a weekly basis, getting new adventures every week. That, and I know people will say the quality of those shows is not the same as a Marvel movie, and that's obvious. I mean, the budgetary difference is astronomical. But storytelling wise, I got so much more out of watching, a season of Arrow or a season of The Flash than I did from watching when I don't know what was coming out when those shows started becoming big and hot. But I kind of lost interest. That's probably when like Iron Man 3 and Thor 2 and these movies like that were coming out, and I just kind of lost interest in why should I get all hyped up about one big movie where they're going to let you down by kind of doing all these kind of weird shenanigans to make it more mainstream when you can get 20 plus episodes of well crafted storytelling with rich characters, developed characters over time on TV series. There's no real good jumping on points for any modern TV shows. This is something that's changed radically over the years. Before, like, you would be able to watch any TV show. You could just decide, oh, I'm going to watch an episode of show X tonight, and you could figure it out. You could gain a little bit of understanding of what's going on, and even if you don't know the characters or the general plot line, you can enjoy it. Now everything is so highly serialized that that's impossible. That's not a reality. I'm a big fan of older TV shows from the 60s and 70s. Those are more the ones that I grew up with.
Like what?
Even though I'm not of that generation, I certainly watched a lot of reruns. Even look at something like Star Trek, for instance. Those are all individualized standalone episodes. And even when they became more serialized as the series progressed, like something like Star Trek Deep Space Nine or Star Trek Voyager, you can still watch a solo episode and not feel left out of, knowing what's the larger, plot at hand here.
So we've talked about, like, when we met up and when we talked on the phone, like we talked about like Twilight Zone and stuff. I really am into that. You obviously just mentioned Star Trek. Like, what other TV shows, like, not even that you grew up with, but like what do you still watch today that some would call like older, like stuff from like the 60s and stuff? Because like for me, the only thing from that time period, like TV show wise, is Twilight Zone. That's the only thing that I mean, I'm 24, so I think even for me, at I'm still at a pretty young age, and like my friends don't watch Twilight Zone. They don't, like, if I reference it, they don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, you're not too terribly far older than me, but like I can't imagine that your group of friends that you hang out with are rewatching. I'm trying to think of something from 60s. Mission
Well,
Impossible,
yeah, Mission
Gilligan's
Impossible.
Island, like stuff like that.
Yeah, no, definitely no one. My favorite shows definitely Star Trek and Twilight Zone are chief among them. You're looking at sitcoms like Green Acres or from the 70s, Mary Tyler Moore Show, things like Charlie's Angels, things like that. Even random shows like Mr. Ed or Car 54, Where Are You? I'm kind of straddling different decades here. But when I was growing up, Nick at Night was huge. I mean, that was what you watched at night. And it's still around, and they show like Friends and Full House now, but like I don't obviously don't watch it now. But when I was growing up, you would watch I Love Lucy, Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, The Monkees, and then other things would be on like TV Land, like Hogan's Heroes. These are all really great sitcoms and shows from that time period, and I really look back at that as like my introduction to not just classic TV, but that extrapolated into kind of learning about classic movies as a result, because there's a lot of overlap between the stars and the people making the shows and things like that. So it also made you not feel uncomfortable watching a black and white TV show. It was just, you watched it and you didn't really notice that it was in black and white for a while, and then it made you feel more comfortable watching an entire movie.
Can we talk about that for a quick second, like the black and white thing? I think that me growing up, because I started watching Twilight Zone maybe like, I don't know, 11, maybe something like that. So I was kind of at that ripe age where like the black and white thing, even if it did bother me, I still was intrigued with the show. And now I'm to the point where black and white doesn't bother me. And it's like stuff like I have a They Live Funko Pop sitting right here, and they incorporate black and white into the movie for certain scenes too, like when they
It's a
wear the
great movie.
glasses. It is a great
It's an
movie.
excellent movie. Yes.
And then like obviously Wizard of Oz starts off black and white, and then they transition into color. Like I I think there's something cool about that concept of something emerging into color like randomly or just not even doing color at all. Clerks, you've seen Clerks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did the whole movie black and white, but that wasn't artistic. That was because it was the cheapest thing out there. Like, I'm wondering why more movies, like even if they're smaller movies, like don't take that risk of doing something in black and white again and just seeing how it goes with a modern audience to see if it catches or not, even if it's like a nostalgia thing.
People are so averse to it. They're so averse to it. They do not want to watch it. I just don't understand why. I mean, I do understand why, but at a certain point, I mean, black and white cinematography is in and of itself a different kind of art form. I mean, there's a reason why they used to have different, recognition at the Academy Awards for black and white versus color.
I didn't know
Um, yeah, back in the day, yeah. Modern movies that have done it, that varying levels of quality of the film. For instance, probably the most recent one I saw was Mank. I don't know if you saw that on
that.
Netflix. It was
No, the most
is
recent one I can think of is The Artist,
The
and
Artist. Yeah.
that's the
I
most recent
have to
I can
admit,
think of.
I enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I would.
I didn't see
Um,
Mank.
yeah, Mank I did not enjoy at all. It was a gorgeous, beautiful looking movie. I mean, the
Do you know?
cinematography was top notch, but the performances were stellar too. But the entire idea of what they were going for in the movie just didn't quite come together at the end. It had like a different agenda for what it was kind of espousing, and it didn't make any sense in the end. There's a lot of like um, the historical aspect of it too is like completely falsified for a lot of the parts of it. So as a historical drama, it's moot, and as entertainment, it wasn't. It was more kind of nerve grating than anything else.
Yeah. Well,
What's my favorite one that does this is have you ever seen Ed Wood, Tim
no.
Burton's film from the mid I think it's from the early to mid 90s, probably like 94.
Man, I'm not
So
a big Tim Burton guy.
oh, okay. So
The
Ed Wood.
only I'll let you talk about Tim Burton or Ed Wood for a second, but I'll just throw this out there. The only Tim Burton movies I actually enjoy is Beetlejuice and Batman. Like I don't care for anything else. But tell me about Ed Wood.
Ed Wood, I think, is definitely one of maybe top three Tim Burton movies of all time. It's a biographical film about the life of a real film director, producer. His name was Ed Wood. He made some of the worst movies of all time, what are considered to be the worst movies of all time, back in the 1950s. Most notoriously, there was a movie called Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is about aliens from outer space who plan to resurrect the dead by stimulating the pineal gland in the brain. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but um, the sets are like entirely cheap. It was the last movie that Bela Lugosi ever starred with air quotes in. He like died before they actually started filming it, so he used like home movie footage that he shot of him just wandering around outside and put it in the movie. And then he used his girlfriend's chiropractor or something like that to double in for him. It's just all these weird stories about making movies like on a shoestring budget as a rebel outside the Hollywood system. And they're all these kind of misfit weirdos making the movie. And it's shot in gorgeous black and white. Johnny Depp, obviously, because this was the Tim Burton, Johnny Depp era.
Another Tim Burton movie that I enjoy that I don't know if a lot of people like this, but I don't care. I like it is the Pee Wee Herman movie.
Oh.
That's just fun. So I don't care what anyone says about that movie. I'm still able to have fun with it. I watch it once a year.
That routinely gets on people's top Burton movie list, though. That's when you definitely see a lot of.
And before we end it, this is going to be a relatively short video, but before we end it, I definitely want to circle back around to silent film with you because me and you talked about that a little bit before. So before we end it, we're talking about that real quick.
Yeah, silent film and appreciation of it is definitely an acquired taste, more so than I think kind of any other kind of film. Maybe you could say foreign language films, similar vibe, but the silent film, it's even as someone who loves black and white movies, loves old movies, silent films are tough. They're tough to watch. They're almost like artifacts from another universe at this point, right? They're so old. But what I found to be the best way to approach this is you have to find, number one, the genre that you will be most interested in watching. That's number one to get you interested. So for most people that are into film, I mean, at least who are doing internet videos, it seems like a lot of people are into horror, right? I mean, I'm a big horror fan myself.
And we're about to get into spooky season.
Exactly. So the best genres to get into silent movies would probably be horror and comedy. Horror, obviously you're looking at things like Nosferatu, Phantom of the Opera, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. These are like the mainstay tent poles of silent horror. There's other stuff out there for sure. And then there's comedy, you have Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Laurel and Hardy, people like that, people that eventually then crossed over into sound too.
So like, because you like such older movies and like silent film, black and white, stuff like that, do you ever have to like hunt down some of those movies? Because you can't just walk into Walmart and buy a movie from 1921. So like, do you have to like hunt it down on the internet? Do you have to like go to like a certain store, like an antique store? Like, I don't know.
No. Amazon has excellent
Oh, really?
pretty much any movie. I mean,
Even from the 30s.
There's a couple companies that really specialize in releasing a lot of back catalog titles, not even from any studio. Number one, the Kino Lorber company, they distribute a lot of really old movies on Blu-ray that they acquire from other studios, and they do a really nice job, not only just remastering the movie and presenting it in very nice quality, but usually there's an audio commentary from some kind of historian. I don't know where they dig these people up from, but they'll always have an audio commentary with a lot of really interesting information in it. The other one would be the Warner Archive, which is Warner Brothers' own kind of archival unit where they put out all kinds of random stuff from the vault. Usually there's no special features or any kind of bonus material, but you're at least getting some really obscure titles there. And they were fantastic for not just doing that, but they also released a lot of TV shows and cartoons that were, from that era too. As someone who's a big fan of Hanna-Barbera cartoons from the 1960s, 70s, they released anything and everything, which some stuff that you maybe didn't even want. And then probably the other one would be the Shout Factory. They do an awesome job, especially in the horror titles. They have like a sub brand called the Scream Factory, and they put out high quality Blu-rays of a lot of more cult and mainstream horror titles, 70s, 80s stuff.
Very cool. Well, why don't we round out with one more topic, whatever you want the topic to be. It doesn't even need to be about movies. So whatever you want, well, that'll be the last topic because I know you're such a very busy guy. And yeah, so what do you want? What do you want to talk about for the very last thing? Anything you want.
So if it's going to be not movies, how about music? What is your
Let's talk about music.
favorite genre or era of music, and why?
Okay, so I can go ahead and my favorite genre varies. Like on my phone, if you go through my playlist, you're gonna see like a little bit everything. You're gonna see some like EDM. You'll see not when I say classical music, I'm not talking about like Mozart and stuff. I'm talking about like stuff from like the 70s, like Jackson 5 or like stuff like that. You'll see Jimmy Buffett on there. You'll see Post Malone, pop, um, rap. I got a little bit of everything. It can really change. But my favorite band of all time is the Beastie Boys. I love the Beastie Boys. They're my absolutely favorite. I have a poster of them watching over me as I sleep in my room. So they protect me as I sleep. They're the greatest thing ever. They are awesome. I love it. What about you?
I am predominantly classic rock. When I was a kid, I was really into, and I still am, a lot of the 60s bands. So obviously big ones like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Monkees and people like that. But just about anything from the 60s. So I have Sirius XM radio. My favorite channels are the 60s on 6, 70s on 7, and 80s on 8. And I've kind of grown throughout the years to expand, what I'm interested in. I've become more a fan of like 80s kind of glam metal, things like Def Leppard and Warrant,
Def Leppard's
Poison.
awesome. Poison's
Yeah,
awesome.
Def Leppard was one of the best concerts that I've ever been to.
What about Kiss?
Oh, well, that's next month. I'm looking forward to go and see them in concert.
Oh, you're actually going to see them?
Yes, I have tickets to go see
man,
Kiss.
you're lucky.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I had the opportunity in the past and I missed it because there's always something going on. But this time I was like, no, just gonna do it. There's probably who knows how many more opportunities there will be to see them
very
live.
many. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who I loved as a kid is I loved Elvis.
Yeah, no, Elvis is great.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get more into 50s music. That's like one of those acquired tastes too. There's a lot of good stuff out there, but then sometimes it's super difficult to kind of.
No, don't force it.
No, that's right. You don't force it. You just kind of little by little you find more and more stuff that you like, and you make it work.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, dude. I got to hang out with you in person. I got to talk to you on the phone before this a couple days ago, and I got to talk to you a little bit more now. This was awesome. Thank you for coming on. I had a really good time chatting with you. I hope that you learned about me as much as I got to learn about you. We're all in the film fan community together. Sometimes people in this community can be jerks, but the whole point of this type of video is to learn about each other and to talk about our love of film.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's been a blast. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And it's been great getting to know you. And we'll be talking again.
Yeah, we'll definitely go see we'll meet up halfway again and see another movie. It will have to be one that I think that you'll like more than Shang-Chi, because I don't want to see another movie with you and then you end up not liking it. So
no guarantees there.
Well, we got Bond coming out and stuff, so maybe that I'm sure you're a Bond person because they were popular in the 70s. So
yes, very much.
There we go. So maybe we can do that. But before we go, why don't you tell everyone where your adventures are online?
Yeah, so you can find me at CineCrisis on YouTube.
Yeah. So definitely check out Ryan's channel if you haven't already. If you're not subscribed to this channel, you should. So go ahead and subscribe to this channel also. But until then, see you guys next time.
Bye.
Snauwers get het ergens op